Matty D here, in the black. Oh, I'm doing an intro like that anyway. So here to help you with emotional, financial abundance. I'm saying emotional and physical abundance here, and also your life coach. So today I'm gonna read over an article. I'm not gonna do a screen share for this one this time, but I want to do this. And the link for the article is below. And this is all about the toxic mother syndrome and what that is all about. Now, this is interesting. The title of the article is called "What is the Toxic Mother Syndrome?" I'm looking at it right now, so I'm not looking at the camera so much. But it's an interesting article in that it says, according to the article, that toxic mother syndrome stems from, the fact that that there are women who became moms. What's the word I'm looking for? They became mothers against their will. It wasn't their choice. That's what it's saying. And that's an interesting point because a lot of people don't think about this, especially, here in the United States, at least in, I don't want to say first world countries, but countries like, Australia, Britain, New Zealand, North America, even parts South America, whatever, but really don't think about, and this article brought this point up, that like, it's hard to imagine that there are mothers out there, women, who are pretty much forced to have children against their will, and they don't want to be mothers at all, okay? So it makes a good point, and I think about that. I was like, wow, because no one thinks about that, and then, at least in America, it's like beaten to your mind from day one that if you're a woman, you're supposed to have children, like you're supposed to. That's the way it works, and it's funny how things work in our society, where it's like if you choose not to have children, you get chastised for it. More so if you're a woman, a guy can have kids, and it's okay to a certain degree, but he's still looked down upon. But if a woman is the one to have children, it's like, what's wrong with you? That's selfish. It's like, if you don't want children, you don't have to have children. Like, some people don't. That's needed in life, And not everyone should have a child, because there's some people, unfortunately, are shitty-ass adults, and you go, how the fuck do you have a child? Like, you shouldn't. But unfortunately, it happens. So, article makes this point, but it says that toxic mother syndrome, it says, it starts off with this. Jill Churchill believes that there's no way to be a perfect mother, but there are a million ways to be a good mother. True. With delicate tenderness, the famous writer speaks about the benefits of motherhood. But what happens when the mother really has no desire to be a mother? That is when the toxic mother syndrome can appear. Interesting enough, and I believe that can happen, but I don't think that's like the root cause of it, because those who are watching this, if you have a mother who's toxic, you grew up with her, and you probably, who you are. This article may relate to you in the sense that, like, my mom had me and she didn't want to have me, and so because I'm suffering. Or your mom wanted to have you, but because she's narcissistic or some bullshit, you've had some pain from that. So one of those two, could be a third situation, I don't know. So one of those over, and my whole point is that if this helps, great. Like, that's the whole point. So, syndrome of the toxic mother. Let's see here. It says psychologist Olga Carmona recognizes that it's not easy to understand that there are women who are not interested at all in having children, which there are. Many of us live in societies where not being a parent is not a valid option. However, this pressure can bring more harm than good. It is precisely from this pressure that toxic mother arises. I should have said being quote end quotes, So what happens with this toxic mother syndrome, and what goes on with this? Let's see here. So it says, to their definition, a toxic mother is that woman who becomes a mother due to social conventions, or because she moves within a script that was prepared ahead of time. Okay, a destiny created by her environment that creates an inertia which leads to making it happen. Fair enough, I guess. Interesting definition here. It also talks about how, then talks about the consequences of this stuff. And if you have a toxic mom or a parent in general, it definitely goes into that. So obviously, the consequences, it affects not just the mom but her children. And it mentions in here that because she's been defined as toxic mother syndrome, she's not allowed to love the kids unconditionally. And that's true. If a parent has emotional stuff, baggage that they haven't dealt with from where in the past, it does not allow them to fully express the love they have for the children. even though they may love you and everything else, and they may show it in passive aggressive ways or just ways where it makes you go, what the fuck? They're showing it, but it's not the healthiest, best way that works for both parties. Hopefully that makes sense. So it says in an article that this article is basically saying that toxic mothers are there, or the mom has toxic mother syndrome because she's forced into being a mother. She didn't want to. It's not talking about mothers who are toxic based off of something else. This is very interesting. So, it's saying that she's there because this happened to her against her will. So because of that, it takes on her. She can't love her child unconditionally. She also isn't able, and because of that, she becomes a very bitter woman, which would make sense. The offspring. So what happens to the children of this? Oh man, the offspring end up, it says, quote, the offspring of these mothers end up carrying the guilt of the unhappiness of the woman who gave birth to them, end quote. Quote again, there's nothing more hurtful for a child than not to feel loved and understood by his parents, end quote. Very, very true. It says here that, toxic mom is going to pretty much nitpick them, instill doubt in who they are. Controlling parents do this too, which is, it's interesting how there's a common theme here going on. It says also in bold, quote, the child will never meet her standards and will be criticized mercilessly, end quote. And it also says the child's achievements can be viewed with jealousy, which would make sense. It's like parents with issues are insecure, and there are some parents, unfortunately, who view as a challenge, potential rival, and you're like, what the fuck did I do, son? Like, you brought me to this planet. Why are you hating on me? You know what I mean? And then you get defensive, they get defensive, and then all things you do ends up justifying in their mind their anger and stuff, which is great. It's shit. So what does it all say? So it also says, like, quote, it's not strange for a toxic mother to put up a facade of, or I think I said it correctly, a respectability and interest of her child, end quote. Talk about how the expectations that she has for a child can be basically talk about unreasonable expectations. Which I've never had either one of my parents, thank God. But if you watch this and you had a parent that's like that, or a mother in this case, that has to be incredibly stressful to you and frustrate the shit out of you. But more importantly, just be a constant source of disappointment and you not feeling you're good enough no matter what you do. And that's a shitty feeling. It's a really shitty feeling I've gotten from my own issues I dealt with and then having relationships. To always feel like you ain't shit, you're never meeting expectations, and it's a constantly defeating thing. It's like you're getting slapped in the face and you don't know what to do. Shitty feeling to have, because because if you're feeling that in that one area of your life, it's gonna have an adverse impact in all areas of your life. Because your life starts with you. You are the center of your world. You are literally, and not I say that not in the way of you being selfish, but everything starts with you. It also talks about how they'll play the victim or use illness to make you feel guilty, which is true. But the article's very interesting. It's short and sweet. Read it. Let me know your thoughts are on this. But it's very interesting to see a toxic mother. So my mother does some of these things, like they'll use passive aggressiveness. It's a big thing. But it's an interesting article. Read it. Let me know your thoughts. Or comment below. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know your things. Again, thoughts, all that stuff. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Get in the black. Peace.